Dr. Sivu Madikana. It's great to have you, bro.
Thank you so much for having me, man.
Firstly, it's because I'm a fan, man. You grow up your whole life being told, choose what you want to do. You can't be a jack of all trades. You have totally ignored all of that. I mean, you're a medicine graduate from Wits. You hold an MBA from Wits. You're a social media influencer. You're a blogger. How do you bring that all together into one space?
No, like on the real, I feel like for me, I always say it's about doing all the things that I want to do and not necessarily stuff that society tells me that I can't do. I grew up in a family where my mother never said there's nothing I can't do. So I'd like go up to her and be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I want to be a singer. She's like, go sing if you want to be a singer. So there's that kind of thing, man. So it's literally, I just do all the things that I want to do, and they all kind of like at some point coincide with a wonderful life.
I want to touch a bit on you spoke about your mother. I want to touch a bit on your upbringing. When does the medicine bug strike? Like in my theory, medicine is contagious. There's always like a family member, a cousin or whatever. When does it strike from you, Sivu as the boy? When do you realize this is what you want to do?
I think I've always had it in the back of my mind because my mom's a nurse. So growing up, you kind of see, oh, she's a nurse, she went to hospital. My dad also worked in like hospital administration. I don't know, I never thought I had it in me to actually like qualify for the marks and stuff, because I used to know like they want 6 A's, but that's what they used to tell us, right?
Yeah.
But then when I got to matric and stuff, I then realized, oh, actually it's more about the person than it is about the marks. Yeah. So my marks were good enough to get me to medical school, but also had a lot of like leadership positions at school. So eventually I applied and I got accepted. So it was like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do this.
Yeah, there wasn't like too much thought into it, like, oh my gosh, you know.
And getting into varsity, what's that journey like? I mean, you're coming from the Eastern Cape, this is Joburg. Is it what you expected to be?
I think the most difficult part for me was understanding that I earned my spot at medical school, because I always thought, these guys are clever.
These guys are bad.
Because all of them were in like the Gauteng top 30, or you could see them in all newspapers because they were like, you know, the top students in the country.
And usually very smart people, also hard workers. Now you've taken a very unconventional approach to medicine, now having finished, but during your studying life, are this like fashion, blogging, are these things you pursued during medicine, and where do you find the time to do that, to live your life while studying medicine?
So the one thing I learned at the time while at school was that you can't continually, I suppose, just want to study.
Yeah.
In order for you to literally live a life that's full, and also be able to pass at school, part of it is you need to diversify whatever it is that you're doing. The people that did well, from my understanding and from what I noticed, were people that would be like at school, and then I don't know, they'd be playing hockey afterwards, etc. And the guys that were just like studying, like that's usually didn't get the marks that they were looking for.
Excel as much as you think for someone that's literally buried in the books
all the time. You know, you don't have a different perspective on life. So for me, part of when I was at med school was that I joined a campus radio, and I completely learned a different skill, like just from how to conduct interviews, how to write show scripts, how to produce shows, news reading, all those things, and also met people that were from different backgrounds and doing other things that are different, like outside of just the medicine thing that I was doing. So it kind of like opens up your mind to the world, and made it much easier.
We touched a bit on your unconventional approach to medicine. Now, having graduated, you've done a lot of great things. I'm talking about your efforts with Brothers for Life. I mean, with us as a normal person, you see the random ad and it looks kind of scary. But when you look at it from a different point of view, see Sivu's part of this, a guy that's just like me, dresses well, you know, it's very social. Was that the take Brothers for Life are going for by going for a guy like you know, medicine graduate, which means you have the knowledge, but you're also very diverse in what you offer?
Yeah, so that's the whole idea of like social influence, that you must use people that are supposed to have social gravitas, but also with the whole Brothers for Life thing was to use someone who people can relate to, because it was targeting men between the ages of like around 18 to 35. So when people see someone that looks like them, that talks the same language as they do, but also with the background knowledge of what HIV actually means, I suppose that's when they thought I was the perfect fit for the campaign, which literally like it changed my life as much as it changed other people's lives.
Okay. Now, do they come after you and say, Sivu's who we want, or do you tell them that, yo, listen, I've spotted this and this gaps that I can happily fill in the market?
No, so I was approached by an agency.
You're approached by an agency to do that for them.
Yeah.
Something that's more personal to you is this varsity convos. I mean, that's a great initiative that you guys are doing. What is it, and what do you guys aim to achieve with it?
All right, so hashtag varsity convos is a concept that me and some friends came up with, and part of the idea was one to have ownership of an idea instead of being the person who just delivers it. And so varsity convos is a health awareness campaign specifically dealing with HIV and AIDS and other communicable diseases that higher education students face. So your sexually transmitted infections, your alcohol abuse, and I was saying like HIV and AIDS. And I noticed the reason it came about was because I was giving a talk at WITS, and some of the questions I was getting from the students, I was a bit shocked myself, because I was of the understanding that everyone already has all this knowledge, because they're university students already, and they're educated. But then I realized that people actually don't have the knowledge. So even when we did our first one, you can just hear the questions that are coming out and how people are like, this is so necessary, because a lot of young people in South Africa don't know where to access certain information, correct information. So varsity convos is the whole idea that we can have a chat in university.
I saw one of the guys you have on is Dr. Musa Mtombeni. Dude, you, Dr. Moose, Dr. Fezile Mkize, you guys just make medicine look like this fun, glamorous career. Is it like that? Do you get that much time to do other things and just look cool in medicine?
No, man. It's literally, I think people overestimate, or rather underestimate, the amount of time we have in a day. So everyone just assumes that we're always like working long hours or on call. I mean, a normal day is like from 8 to 4, like any other career. And then it just happens that once a week you have to be on call, where you have to work like a full 24 hours. But in the time where you're not doing all these things, if you have time to do other things, then it's like you might as well. I mean, like Musa and Fez are a great example. Like Musa has a whole lot of knowledge when it comes to just the TV space and what he's done there. Fez is completely like killing.
He's a sex symbol.
The modeling industry, and people don't know. Like a lot of people don't even know that Fez is a doctor.
They don't, bro. They know him for the Jet Shitless commercial and drinking Hunters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's,
they know you for the dresser you are and the social media guru that you are. 34K followers. It's so weird that this conversation almost didn't happen, and by the time it comes out, you'll be like, God, you'll be a New York citizen. Talk to me about this move. Like, you're chasing your second master's degree, bro, at 29. That's 6 years of medicine and MBA and your second master's degree. And you're not the typical academic that we see. Like, when you think of someone, if I told someone this bio, they would never think of a Sivu in their head. What is this move for you? Is it more a social move? I want to learn a new culture, a new place, or is it purely academic?
Well, it was a mixture of both. Really, part of it was I knew I wanted to go do a master's in a foreign country, and specifically in the USA. So I applied to different universities, and I got accepted, and then I chose New York because I just thought it's a great place where I can continue doing the things that I'm doing currently. Correct. And also study. So exactly. I feel like New York is a bigger Johannesburg, where there's vast and ample opportunities to kind of tap into different markets, which is literally like living many lives. Yeah. So that's what I want to do.
And I've already seen like some of your friends like Sia Beile and Maximo Ponyani, they already like live between New York and South Africa. But one friend in particular that I want to like talk about is Natasha Tahani. She's already that side, and you guys seem to have a great relationship. What is that relationship, Steve? What is that relationship?
Tash, no, Tash, she's a good friend, and yeah, that's all it is. I remember we had this conversation last year, which was like she's going to New York, and I was like, yeah, but it eventually happened, and she moved before me, and then I'm following after her. So it's awesome to have someone that you know already, like in that big city. So I'm gonna get there. Let's show me around. So it works out well. People would call you an influencer. You term it differently. What do you call it? Digital entrepreneurship. Basically, to you, that describes making money from your appeal to people via social media. What goes into digital entrepreneurship for you? Well, it's just terming a concept very differently. But I feel like it encompasses everything that we do because you're an entrepreneur making money in the space of social influencing.
And you worked with like companies like Woolworths, you've worked with Spree. How does somebody actually go from doing what they love to like making money off it in this digital entrepreneurship phase?
I honestly feel like with this space, because I get that question a lot, like young kids always ask, like, so how did you get into it? Do you approach companies? Do you wait for them to approach you? But I know how we got into it was because we're in the right spaces, and then they already know you because they've seen you at the parties or at the right spaces, and then they see you online as well, and then eventually they kind of like approach you in that space. So that's how it happened with me.
And I've seen you do a lot of interviews. You're a very composed, well-spoken person. You mentioned the radio part. Do we see like a potential Dr. Oz type of thing coming up? What are the future plans?
No, look, I've always wanted to do a show,
Yeah.
and it's gonna happen. Like I'm not in a rush. The show is gonna happen in the next couple of years when I come back, or even when I'm overseas. I don't know.
You never
see
know
how it goes.
Like I've mentioned, you inspire a lot of people, myself included. I'm very curious to know who inspires you.
So I surround myself with great individuals. So it's just the mixture of all those. I just take inspiration from everywhere,
Different places.
different people.
When it's all said and done, let's say Sivu at 50 years, what would you like people to like just say about you and take from how you've conducted your journey of life to get there?
One, I want people to be like, Sivu was a good person, or Sivu is a good person. Like that's, like
Check.
being a good person is really important. I want them to say he did it all. Lived the best life that he wanted to live and absolutely outlived. I want to have all those journeys, and I don't want to miss out on anything, because life, as much as people always say life is too short, and which is quite true. I mean, I'm approaching 30 and I feel like I've hardly done anything, even though I've done a lot, but I feel like there's so much more to do. So I want people to say I lived, or I when they're looking back on my life, they're like, this man lived his best life.
How important is money to you? I'm curious about that.
I'm not one person who's hung up on money. I suppose I'm hung up on what it can do for you. So it's more for me being able to, have a nice car, have a beautiful house, travel the world. It's what it can do for me, not hoarding money. Like, I don't want to be a multi-billionaire. Like, what do I want to do with it?
Yeah.
I don't have aspirations for that. I have aspirations, for example, if I want to own a private jet, that's one of my aspirations. But in order to own a private jet, you need to have money to buy that jet. So that's how I see it.
That's interesting. I asked that because I want to know how we're going to live when I visit you in New York. That's a good answer. Sivu, bro, I really appreciate you for coming. Like I said a couple of times, I'm very inspired by your life, your journey, and how you pursue everything that your heart desires. Best of luck for your trip in New York the next 2 years and coming back. Keep doing amazing things, man.
Thank you so much for having me, bro.
Thanks so much, bro.
Go and live your best life. Go ahead and live it, babe.